Minutes where we were good, clearly better, had huge chances, and yeah, if you wanna win the game, you need to convert these chances. If you start so well, we did not. Then we lost track. We did not do anymore what made us strong. Made it an even game, and in this period, we gave 2 presents away, and that was it.
You say that you lost track. Can you just expand on that a little bit more?
We just did not what we did for 20 minutes. We stopped doing. We had different ideas. We did not execute repetitive what we wanted to do and what we did in the beginning of the match. And there's no reason for it, and that's why the game was a bit stuck. But it was no problem. It was absolutely no problem. And then we gave 2 gifts away, and that cost us the game.
What was the thinking at half-time? You changed things around a little bit.
Yeah, we tried, but it was never the plan. It was the execution of the plan. So maybe I should have stick to the plan and not give the signal. But we tried. We tried to implement a bit of a new energy. And honestly, I mean, we were again the better team in the beginning. We had again chances, but we have now, I think, the triple amount of touches in the box. But we have almost no shots on target. So. You cannot score if you don't shoot on the target, and it's disappointing that we lost even the second half. I thought that we were capable of winning the second half and stealing minimum a point, but we were not.
But 7 points from 9 as well for Leeds United, and as we've mentioned, a 6th Premier League win as Leeds United manager for Jesse Marsch.
Jesse, how special was that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a complete performance, right? I think we had a few different plans on based on what they would look like, and the guys did a really good job adjusting tactically for what we needed. We wanted to play with confidence and with aggression, but do it in a way that it was still controlled. We wanted to be brave with the ball, and I think we accomplished a lot of those goals. So, you know, I said to them afterwards that the feeling inside, even from the first day I came, is that this is a special team and a special group. And the validation right now is important, but it should also mean hunger for us to continue to improve.
Yeah, on that word hunger, towards the end of the second half, there was one point where your team had run 11 kilometres further than Chelsea. What does that tell you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously our goal is to never be outrun, to never be outworked. But also what we're trying to add is to not be outthought. And so if we can add those 2 things together, then we can start to build something that's real. So, you know, they've tried to continue to learn and adapt to what I would like them to be. And you can see it coming together almost right before your eyes from week to week. So that's a good sign for us, but there's still so much to do.
Where it can be beat, and if it does get beat, it can sometimes look embarrassing. The other team can go down the other end and score goals. But on this hand, it worked perfectly, just as you said. I think he lets you blow yourself out, blow a gasket in a way, that you're working that hard. And as you saw, his first sub was at 60 minutes, and then he made another 3 attacking subs to go on and keep that tempo basically high. And I thought Leeds were outstanding today, and they showed Chelsea in a way what it is to play with a bit of heart and fight, really.
And they didn't have any time on the ball all day, and that's how the first goal came about, Les.
Yeah, I think they shocked Chelsea with the way that they pressed. They would have seen bits and pieces about Leeds, but they were right in their faces. And I think the important thing, and we mentioned it before, was when they pressed like this, you know, Harrison had pressed already, and Aronson, and then I suppose I'm looking at Mendy here, and you'll say it's a mistake from the goalkeeper, but if he doesn't get pressed, he don't make the mistake, so he gets pressed, and Aronson does really well to win, nick the ball off him and get Leeds going in the direction they wanted to.
Yeah, I thought the performance all around, like Les said, that the pressing from Aronson, the front 3 were phenomenal, not giving them any time, setting little traps, waiting for them to receive the ball and then just basically hunt them down, and they did it from the minute go. And you thought in the second half, when a few changes happened, it would change, but it didn't. And things like this happen, and it's a great header from Rodrigo, the way the cross comes in. And as Les says, in the first half, he got across his front man, and if you do that against Zonal, it's pretty much impossible to stop if the ball's that good.
Yeah, totally agree. You just get the run on James here, and once you get that run and you've got the momentum of the run and the leap, it's very, very difficult for someone who's zonal marking you to get the leap that they need to, or to get in front of you, and he took the goal brilliantly well.
And this one was just unbelievable break. If you just watch Rodri and Harrison's run from there, they've run unopposed from way back in the half, and none of Chelsea players track them. And you can just see the hunger and desire there for them to get on the end of that and make something happen. Because really, if Jackson ain't there, Rodrigo's ball just goes off the side of the pitch. But he carried his run on as you're taught as a kid. When you don't play the ball and stand still, they didn't. They played the ball and they followed it. And at that time, it's late on in the game, Leeds winning 2-0, they still had 4 players in that box.
And it was Rodriguez that played the ball outside, but he gets in the box. And I think that's the consequence of when you've scored a couple of goals, you want to get in there and you want to score some more. I think had he not scored any goals, probably wouldn't have ended up in the box. But the fact that he's got that hunger and desire to score goals again, he gets himself in the box. And unfortunately, he didn't score, but he set his mate up, Harrison.
You know Jesse Marsh well. Have you ever seen him celebrate like he did today?
Yeah, I actually have. That's something he does. Like I said, he almost plays the game with you. To be honest, I thought his trousers were going to rip there.
The thing is, when you see them celebrate sometimes like that, it's not just the fact that they've scored a goal, it's when the plan's executed.
Yeah.
You know, you look at the plan, you have a plan before the game, it gets executed, and that's what delights a manager more than anything else, is the fact that the plan's being executed.
And just look at that comparison under Bielsa. 15 under Marsh, 26 under Bielsa. There's only a point difference.
Yeah, it's only a point difference. I just think it's just a different way. I think when Bielsa came, it worked the first time around, and then he had some major injuries, and the players that it worked with there didn't work well with the players that came in, and they kind of got opened up. And I just feel like since Jesse's come in, that they still have the same press in a way and aggression, but that man-to-man marking, which leaves big holes everywhere, has been taken out the game. So now if they do miss, if he does go late and he misses out, they've still got a compact team behind, and there isn't like massive gaping holes for teams to basically destroy them in.
A day to forget for Chelsea got even worse. They finished with 10 men. The new man, Koulibaly, 2 yellows.
Yeah, I mean, last week he was outstanding. This week, it was Aronson again here who turns him inside here and gets away, pulls the shirt, grips him round the neck, and he gets the first yellow card, which was understandable. He had to get a yellow card for this. And
this one here, Les, I don't know what he's thinking. I think they're a long way from the goal. It is a great 1-2, but you've got to trust Thiago's there. He's going to come across. He's got to just let him go. I think this is
Thiago's going to win the ball. It's just stupidity here more than anything else. I don't even think he realises what he's doing. He doesn't realise he's already on a yellow card, and it's. I don't even think it's to stop him from getting the ball. It just runs across the path, and as defenders do, they stick their arm out. And when you do it at the time, he's thinking to himself, he's in the change room thinking, what have I just done there? Do you know what I mean? It's just the heat of the moment.
In the last 6 seasons, he is the most red-carded player in Europe's top 5 leagues. So he has got a little bit of previous. Now, so the last time Leeds beat Chelsea was 20 years ago. A 16-year-old James Milner scored that day, but they're halfway to doing that today. And we'll look at the goals. The first of one, before that, you picked out the game plan before the game from your former manager, Jesse Marsh, and that was a big part in the way the goal came about.
Exactly that. It's hard for him to play any other way, although I have seen it done a few times. But if you can see here that from the get-go, they're pressing, they're hunting the ball, they're not letting Chelsea have any time to settle and get into the game whatsoever. And they made so many half chances and some chances from it. And the positive thing, which Les highlighted, is that when they're pressing and they're winning the ball back, they're actually keeping the ball and doing something good at the end of it. They're not just giving it straight back to Chelsea, otherwise the press becomes too draining. So I thought they've been unbelievable personally.
Yep, I think the way they've closed down, they're actually doing to Chelsea what Chelsea did to Spurs last week and didn't give them time to breathe. And every time they win it, and as you said, it's when you do win the ball back. And this is interesting because I think this is Aaron's closing him down here. Aronson closes him down. He plays it out there, gets rid of it, and Chelsea do all right, but they still press him, win the ball back, and they keep it. And then in this next run here, they press him, they close him down. Chelsea win the ball back, play it back, and look, Aronson closes him down again. Forces him to take that touch inside, and Mendy's not the best with his feet. Anyway, so in that position you want him to clear him, but he must have felt to himself he might take a touch inside here again.
It's brilliant. Like you expect Chelsea to be able to deal with some of the presses, and sometimes they will lose the ball, but I found they haven't been able to deal with anything Leeds have chucked at them. They have created 2 good chances, but that was kind of earlier on, I would say, in the game where they was a bit late on some of the presses they've done. But once they've got on time and all on the same page, Chelsea haven't really been able to do much, really. They're getting overrun in the middle.
Jesse Marsh covering some ground in the celebration. You've noticed Leeds as a team covering obviously more ground than Chelsea, but the goal scorer we picked out as well, actually getting the goal, but he has covered more ground in that first half than any other player on the pitch. 5.6 kilometres Brennan Anderson has run. There you go. And as you can see, 5.9 rather, and there's only one Chelsea player on that graphic at half-time. The second one was a more traditional goal, but again, the type of marking from a striker's point of view played into Leeds' hands.
Yeah, I mean, I used to love playing against zonal marking because I think once you get a run, and if you see where Rodrigo makes his run from, just gets across. And when you get a run on the defenders, you see him just start off with Loftus-Cheek at the back here, it just makes the run. And it's very, very difficult because he's got the momentum and he just gets to jump ahead of him, and it's a great header, to be fair. And you know, he gets his 4th goal of the season, so he's on fire at the moment. We wondered whether they would have the firepower today, and they've shown that they have, Leeds.
Yeah, and Jesse Marsh was talking about his experience at the captain's armband, part of the leadership group before the game. He's responded as well. He only got 6 in all of last season, and Rodrigo now has 4 for this season, and he is currently the Premier League's top scorer. So they have it all to do, Chelsea, in this second half. What do they do now, Thomas Tuchel?
First of all, come out and start running. I think they're getting overrun a lot in the midfield. I think once Leeds do get the press, they just seem to be out. They got to respond by when they're losing the ball. They have to have a reaction and go back and try and win that ball back and get back and help their defenders, because Jorginho a few times has kind of been left on his own and they're just moving the ball around him quite easily, because we know that's not his strongest trait. He's good with the ball, but without the ball defensively, he will get opened up in areas, and Leeds are taking advantage of that.